Welcome to Grape. Our pick this week is the Finca Decero Malbec Remolinos Vineyard from Mendoza, Argentina, and it retails for $26. And I'm with Marcos Fernandez, a winemaker from Finca Decero. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I had the pleasure of visiting Argentina in the fall, and one of the things that really stood out to me was the diversity that exists in the country, and not just diversity in terms of the regions and the microclimates, but also the diversity with respect to the grape varietals. And Argentina is a country right now that's so popular, but everybody thinks of Malbec. But I think everybody thinks of Malbec, a particular style of Malbec. But within Argentina, there's so many different styles of Malbec that exist, and I think this wine is a great example of how even within a particular region and within a particular vineyard, you can have such a great diversity of the grape. Tell us a little bit about the area in Mendoza that you're from, and as well as the vineyard itself, and how Malbec can be so different.
Right. So it's a very challenge, and it's a very exciting to be working with Malbec. And like you say, we have diversity in terms of where you can plant the Malbec, and mostly depend of the latitude, the altitude, and the soil. And for example, Remolinos Vineyard, where we are at 1,050 meters or 35,000 feet of elevation. But in the same vineyard, we have soil variation. 100% of what we produce is single vineyard wines, but I feel really lucky because Remolinos Vineyard is a wonderful place for Malbec, but we can play with different soil, different style of Malbec to give complexity to our 2010 Decero Malbec.
So, explain in terms of the different soil conditions and what character it gives to Malbec in these different vineyard sites.
So it's amazing. Our vineyard, we have a few parcels, 20% of them where we don't have stones, and 80% of the parcels of Malbec at the Remolinos Vineyard, they have stones. That make a huge difference in terms of aromas, mostly. What happens is the stones, they heat during the day, they keep the temperature, and they give the temperature to the roots all through the night very slowly. So where we have stones, the roots, they work in warm condition at night. Where we don't have stones, they work at cooler conditions. So that makes huge difference. Where we don't have stones, it's always more floral, violet principle, than where we have stones. Where we have stones, it's always more ripe, kind of red fruit flavors. Could be blackberries, plums, strawberries. So in Remolinos, we have this variation, and it's a good opportunity to have complexity from the same vineyard in this wine. Also, we help a little bit. What I want to, from the winemaking point of view, we do a very minimal intervention of winemaking. So the star is Remolinos Vineyard, and what we do is to show this complexity, to show the potential of the vineyard. Only is to pick earlier the floral parcels where we don't have the stones. Probably also we do the fermentation at lower temperature and shorter macerations to protect the floral flavors, because all the violet and floral flavors are much more sensitive than the red fruit. So the 80% of the red fruit parcels where we have stones, we pick later. We do the fermentation at higher temperature and longer maceration, because there we have also more body, more structure in the wine. But it's the only thing that we do from the technical point of view.
Right. So very natural in terms of allow the actual place to show itself in the
exactly.
world.
Very I always say minimal intervention of winemaking, very natural, and the idea is to show the diversity, but the complexity of Remolinos Vineyard.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and taste this one.
Okay. So 2010 vintage, it was a little bit cooler than 2009. And so the freshness, the acidity is amazing. It's a wine that you can enjoy with different kind of food. It's a very friendly food wine. And in terms of aromas, because the cooler year, we have more violets than the 09. The 09 was more red fruit character, more cherries and plums. This is red fruit, but the violets are a little bit higher.
Absolutely. And I love the acidity in this wine. And I think for a lot of people who have been exposed to Malbec, particularly the Malbecs that in general have been found in the market, I think this wine is such a great example of the freshness that Malbec can have. And I think not only is it fantastic to drink on its own because it does have that freshness, so it's not the heavy style of wine, but as you said, I think extremely versatile with food.
Yes. So for us, it's extremely important, and again, I feel very lucky to be working with this particular vineyard, because we can make this style of Malbec where the balance is extremely very, I would say, the balance is beautiful. So when I talk about balance, that means the relation between concentration, alcohol, and acidity.
Absolutely.
So acidity bring into the wine the freshness. So you can enjoy this wine with food or without food because of freshness. The alcohol is always in Mendoza around 14.5, 14%. But also the concentration is, this wine is very, I would say, food-friendly style of concentration. So the combination between that kind of softness, finesse in terms of the tannins and the concentration plus the acidity, that makes this wine very interesting and enjoyable with different kind of food or without food.
Absolutely, absolutely. What kind of foods would you recommend with this?
So, you know, Argentina is very famous because the meat, the asado, and I love to cook asado. And when I have this kind of soft meat, could be ribeye or filet mignon with vegetables on the grill. So this is a very good match for this kind of wines.
Fantastic, wonderful. So our pick again this week is the Finca Decero Malbec 2010 vintage, the Remolinos Vineyard from Mendoza, Argentina, and it retails for $26. Marcos, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Salud.
Thank you. Salud.